This series is about a man's life who was changing academic thinking of deep time.
The man is a legend.
Quick health and safety risk assessment based on how old we were, how good a life we have, what's the danger of sod it, let's go for it.
Well, to me, the man is a legend.
I was a poacher and now I'm a gamekeeper. I'm a square peg in the round hole, I suppose, in society, really, because I've always thought that rules are made for other people. And I'd only follow rules if I thought they were sensible, so if they're not, I don't follow them. A boot that had been washed out with a bone stuck out of it would turn out to be the foot that was inside the boot. So Charlie, being Charlie, thought, well, I don't know, I'll take it back at the pub and I'll tell the police. I think it's like we're telling stories from deep time. And I came back and he said, that's it, stories from deep time. And we call it the Etches Collection. And someone said, one of the group said, well, why that? Nobody's going to know that, the Etches Collection. And he said, well, no one knew the Wallace Collection, they do now. To be proud of it. It's a collection of Kimmeridgian clay fossils that have been amassed by basically one person. No one's ever done that before, and the collection is based solely on one sweet aged rock fossils, so the Kimmeridgian clay. So you know, other museums have all other sorts of material in there. So we've started afresh, and we've just got Kimmeridgian material in there, which I've collected over the last 40 years. So we came back with a tiler's hammer, which was worse than useless really, because it had a big point, no weight, but I had to make do with that. These specimens you're looking at are completely new to science. That's really interesting. That's another bit of information we've not had before. What's really interesting is the point of fact that not only have we got the mandible and the teeth, we've got a lot of the postcranial material as well. So we've got both front flippers, and one of them's complete. It really is the bee's knees. We got all part of the neck. We haven't got any more than that because, as I say, it came out of a quarry and it was being actively worked. So the rest of the animal would have been bulldozed away. But hey ho, we've probably got the most complete plesiosaur of this type that's been discovered to date. Things with fossil collecting is field knowledge. The more you're out there, the more you're with the rocks, the more you understand the rocks, the more you know the beds and everything else. And what it yielded initially when I started cleaning, it's just the tip of the snout, so I knew the thing was complete. The thing that's special about this ichthyosaur is the most complete ichthyosaur discovered from the Kimmeridgian clay period. So it's over a 6-month period, probably longer than that, to clean this thing up, put it back, put the block slabs back together, consolidate it, do everything to it. Well, this is an end of a plot, so limb bone, we got the rest of it, but when we cleaned it down, it yields all these bite marks. So you got 1, 2, 3, God, 4, it was 5, so heavy, and we had to walk all up through this muddy thing, probably for about a mile and a half. The only thing is bringing back heavy weights when you got big rucksack.
Maybe you shouldn't be married. Maybe that's the answer.
Oh no, I want to be married.
Oh, okay.
I don't want to cook me own dinner when I get home. No. They'll get flying reptiles, because Mary Anning found one of the first flying reptiles in Britain. And so this is the second skull since she discovered hers. So this is the original one. So it's all, that's how you build your knowledge up, really, in some ways. It's reading every sort of book going on the Kimmeridgian clay, going to symposia where it gets a bit technical sometimes, where they're discussing sort of reptiles and all those sort of things. You get to sort of build up your knowledge in that way, really. So really, to be honest, this is the workshop. This is where I spend, I mean, I'm normally here 7 days a week, to be honest. If I'm not out in the field collecting, I'm either dealing with people or cleaning this stuff. Gerald scarf. who did a caricature of Margaret Thatcher.
cartoonist.
Yeah, and he did Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Did he do some graphics
Yeah,
for
yeah,
that?
he
I
did
don't know,
some
some
graphics
stuff.
for that. He did, yeah.
And we named it after him.
It's grotesque, his stuff was always grotesque.
Yeah, and someone said to my co-author, did you ask Gerald Scar's permission to name this thing after him? He said, well, no, because he never asked Margaret Thatcher's permission to name the pterosaur after her. He did that thing called Toridactylus, didn't he?
Yeah.
So anyhow, we got other things, like a lot of world firsts. We got the first ammonite eggs ever discovered. I had to prove that. So now we've done that, we've described that. Now we just CAT scan the eggs to see if we've got the world's first embryos.
Really?
So that's pending now, so yeah.
Where do you go for the CAT scans?
Southampton University,
They're
yeah.
really hot on that, aren't they? I've seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah, no.
It's,
In fact, there was a big crocodile skull over there. We CAT scanning that because the only uncrushed marine crocodile skull in existence. So I'm picking that up now.
amazing.
I've not done a university degree, but if you think about education in a university as a circle, you've gone one way and you've got to follow certain curriculum and certain things to prove you can do research, retain facts and all this sort of thing. Think of me, I've gone in the other way. I missed out all the boring bits that you know you've got to do, and you've got to do it, and I don't. And I've done the bits I really want to do. And I said I'd come to the same results.
I don't know why. You said it was. You said you got a present for me. This it?
Not quite. Not quite.
No, sorry, it's very good.
Why not throw it?
I only found a few days ago, and it requires probably maybe a few hundred hours, either with a little pen chisel, and then it'll expose the bone. So this is the bone. So here we potentially think this might be turtle.
Oh, what, the edge of the carapace?
That bit there. Yep.
Yeah,
And then not myself.
Oh,
no,
okay.
this is cleaned, but
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
there we go.
Ah.
And what's in there could potentially be the same as this.
Some good material, but I can tell you, over 35, 40 years collecting that is, you could collect the same material like I've got within 3 or 4 years if you really wanted to do it at Lyme Regis. So the rewards are not that great. But when you come to Kimmeridge, if you like remote areas, this is the place. It's the most remote area on the East Dorset coast. It's a place that you can actually die in because you can get cut off, the cliffs do fall quite regularly and stones are falling enough to kill you. No phone reception. But it's a place that I really like because I don't necessarily need to find material to be happy, if you get what I mean. There was these things called RIG sites, regionally important geological sites, which is great. So in other words, what they would do is a group of volunteers would go in and clean up old quarry faces to show the geology. Well, that's great. Oh, yeah, that's fantastic. Not that a lot of people really go there and do it. But I remember there was one quarry, they said, oh, well, when we clear the face, we put a sign up, no fossil collected, no hammers, no nothing. And I said, well, there are fossils in there, so that's a bit sort of, draconian. I said, so as a 6-year-old kid, you can go there, you can look at the quarry face and no collecting. I said, that would put me straight off. I said, why don't you, when you're clearing the face, collect all the rocks and that you're going to get rid of, put them in a big pile. When these kids come, give them a pair of goggles and hammer and chisel, let them get their own fossils out. Oh, what a good idea. You know what I mean? You've got to... Our youth are our sort of inspiration. They're the people that's going to carry on, and to stop them at that early stage pioneering, finding their own stuff, doing their own inquiries and learning that actually when you hit something and you hit your finger, you don't do it again, instead of, you're always too dangerous for you. This is how we experience life, They should be let loose and get on and do it. Not so many rules. I hate rules. Well, I do, I hate rules.
And I think he's just great at doing fossils, and I think the museum's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, take one of probably bloody loads.
Yeah, I should think the way we go.
Right, go on. Right, everyone quiet and talk about that bit of stone you got there.
Well, this is an end of a plice or limb bone. We got the rest of it, but when we cleaned